Legendary Sooners head coach Barry Switzer would have been pleased with this win. He would always say hang half 100 on him, and that's exactly what the Sooners did today in their win against the Kansas Jayhawks. So I have to go with OU baseball. Last Tuesday, Skipper and the boys hosted the Texas Rangers instructional squad and won 8-3. And one thing about the Sooners ball club, those pitchers are going to pile up strikeouts, and offensively, they're going to steal some bags. Well, you mentioned a physical athlete. I want to talk about the sophomore wideout, Jaleel Farouk. When he has the ball in his hand, something good is bound to happen. I think he's on his way to be the go-to pass catcher for the Sooners offense.
Our team got hot at the right time and made a historic postseason run. Can you walk us through that? Did that shock y'all?
TCU Horned Frogs head down to the 40 acres to play Steve Sarkisian's Texas Longhorns. And this Texas team just beat a good Kansas State team. And TCU is still undefeated thanks to QB1 Max Duggan. But TCU's weak spot is their defense. Sonny Dykes' defense lets up 27 points per game. And I don't think that they can stop Texas. They have so many playmakers. There needs to be a new defensive scheme. The three-man front isn't working for this defense. It's been really ineffective. They've gotten pushed around by the run in the pass game. And with the three-man front, you can't rush the quarterback. Okay, so you guys are Texas girls. I'm a Texas girl too. I'm from Houston. So what do you guys miss the most now being in Oklahoma? For me, it's the seafood. Maybe Buc-ee's. What do you guys miss? The Texas Longhorns could not have written a more perfect script to beat the Oklahoma Sooners and the Red River Showdown. But before we go into that, let's go back to September 10th. The Longhorns hosted the Alabama Crimson Tide and lost that game. And in that game, Quinn Ewers also had an injury to his non-throwing shoulder. But today, Ewers made his debut, and he was absolutely phenomenal.
So head out to Marita Hines Field on Wednesday for the next battle series, or just watch it on ESPN+.
Hey, is Jada Coleman on Team Boomer or Team Sooner? Because I want her in my outfield. She's an absolute baller. Well, the Oklahoma defense could not stop the Baylor Bears ground game. 4 different rushers punched it in the end zone. And Craig Williams, he had a career-high 192 yards on the day and 2 touchdowns.
Yeah, so I want to ask about Reggie Willett. So he came in and he really changed the offense. And I mean, he taught y'all how to steal some bags. Last year, you guys ranked 4th nationally with 145 stolen bases. Tell us what it's like having Reggie.
Are you guys feeling nervous, excited, prepared?
Nope, I got this in the bag. The run game is what kept the Sooners in the game, and that's accredited to the offensive line creating running lanes for Eric Gray, and even Dylan Gabriel ran a bit. The Sooners were able to rush a little over 5 yards per carry, and the O-line only gave up 1 sack and 2 QB pressures. And Anton Harrison was the most impressive offensive lineman. His pass protection was outstanding. Let me see this bling on y'all's fingers. Now, can you tell me which each ring is from? My key to the game was that Levy was going to have to focus on the run game because Iowa State's defense doesn't give up big plays. They like to keep everything in front of them. It's usually hard to get behind their DBs unless you run the ball well. And the Sooners were committed to the run game. The RBs had 38 carries between them. And Eric Gray was the leading rusher, like Tyler said earlier, with 101 yards and a touchdown. Running the ball creates a physical mentality for the offense and gives the offensive line some confidence as well. Max Duggan has become more of an accomplished passer in his time as a Horned Frog. His completion percentage is 77%, and the Frogs average 46.3 points per game. This may be the most talented offense the Sooners have faced yet. The Sooners have got to improve in gap integrity. Gap integrity starts with lining up at the line of scrimmage. After the ball was snapped, the defensive line weren't in their proper gaps, and that left massive holes, and that's how Baylor's run game was able to be so efficient. You can't have multiple guys in the same gap and have voids on the field. You can't win football games that way. Oklahoma can't stop teams from converting. They need to be more aggressive and start blitzing the quarterback on 1st or 2nd down. The defense needs to create more pressure to stop the chains from moving. 2 gymnasts were on their official visit to the University of Oklahoma in KJ Kindler's national championship program and had no idea they crossed paths before.
May and I were like, oh my gosh, our gotcha day is like 6 days apart. Like that, were we in like the same orphanage at the same time? Like,
oh, we were both from Jiangxi, and we're like, what? Wait, you too?
you know, our parents were talking and all that, and I think that's just how we connected the dots.
That did bring me like comfort, like I was like, oh, I'm in the right place almost.
After tearing her ACL for the 2nd time on a bar dismount, Quinn decided it was time to retire from gymnastics.
Like she was doing great our freshman year, and then it was just so sudden.
And that's when a new chapter started for Quinn. She became a volunteer student manager for the squad.
The connections that you have at first, are your teammates. And so kind of especially after, you're kind of starting fresh again, And so you want to keep as many connections as you can.
That just meant a lot that she really put that much like effort into still supporting us, still coming in every day with a great attitude.
As for May, she's still competing for the Sooners. Last year, she was a vault specialist and is looking forward to the 2023 season. Even though they are no longer teammates, May and Quinn have a special bond they will cherish forever.
Great that we met each other, we're still in touch, we're still good friends, and it's just like we'll probably have a lifelong friendship of just, and especially both of us knowing each other and the ins and outs with being adopted and everything. I think that's just a special connection that will last.